everybody lying. I just told you that. Didn't I just tell you that?
Yeah.
That was a lie, Lance. That fight was a lie.
Mike Tyson just destroyed Netflix after what has happened in the boxing world. After the chaos of his fight with Jake Paul, Netflix crumbled under the pressure of 65 million viewers, leaving fans staring at endless buffering instead of punches.
Jake Paul and Mike Tyson now have been suspended from boxing after controversial fight in Texas.
You pay for a fight, you get a tech disaster. And what's the aftermath? A $50 million lawsuit and tech meltdowns. Now Tyson himself is throwing some serious allegations at Netflix. So, was this just a major screw-up? Or is there more to this streaming disaster than meets the eye?
When he told him he was going to face Mike Tyson, we are putting the real in surreal, and Tyson in his trademark coming out fast.
The Tyson versus Paul fight was set to be a historic clash that drew millions' eyes. With 100 to 8 million viewers tuning in, it wasn't just a fight, it was a spectacle. After stepping into the live sports arena for the first time, Netflix promised an unforgettable experience. It was memorable, but not for the reasons they had hoped.
Online, many were left in a fighting mood following the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul match last week, but not because of any of the punches thrown in the ring.
As the punches flew inside the ring, chaos was busy throwing haymakers outside. Netflix, the so-called titan of tech, found itself flailing under the weight of its hype. Imagine this: 65 million concurrent streams, a monumental audience, and yet, the only thing streaming smoothly was the outrage on social media.
Last Friday's big ringside fight could be heading to court. A Florida man has filed a $50 million lawsuit against Netflix claiming breach of contract after subscribers dealt with buffering issues during the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight.
Fans everywhere were left fighting their battles, not against punches, but against unrelenting buffering. Screens froze mid-action, random crashes turned the fight into a guessing game, and entire sections were missed. And the lucky ones? They got the pleasure of staring at endless loading circles while wondering where their hard-earned money went. Some viewers were locked out completely, as they'd accidentally subscribed to Netflix Glitch Edition.
In breaking news, streaming giant Netflix is being issued a class action in relation to the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight.
Honestly, the backlash came in faster and more furious than Jake Paul's jab. Over 90,000 complaints flooded Down Detector during the broadcast. 90,000. For context, that's more than Twitter users complaining on a Monday morning.
Tyson versus Jake Paul just got Netflix sued. People got a big problem with this stream cutting out.
Netflix wasn't exactly waving the white flag. They defended their botched performance as brilliant. Yes, brilliant. Apparently, setting a record for the most complaints about a live stream is an achievement now. But for fans who missed the fight's biggest moments or couldn't watch, Netflix's defense came off as tone-deaf at best and outright infuriating at worst. What was supposed to be a night of entertainment became a wake-up call for the streaming industry. Netflix may have aimed for the stars, but instead they crashed under the weight of their own ambition.
The game, Muhammad Ali, of course Muhammad Ali, you know, he inspired a lot of people in our region, all around the world. Mike Tyson.
Oh, yes.
Mike Tyson, whose name alone carries the weight of boxing history, has remained eerily silent about the streaming chaos. Tyson's silence feels almost deafening for someone known for speaking his mind, especially when the stakes are high. Is this restraint intentional? Many believe so.
And when he was the champ, it was like, people don't understand what a champ he was. Like, he wasn't just the heavyweight champion of the world, he was an executioner.
One theory suggests Tyson is protecting his legacy. After all, this was his grand return to the spotlight, fighting in front of a record-breaking 108 million viewers. Addressing Netflix's failure could shift focus away from his performance and on to the controversy, potentially tarnishing what was supposed to be a triumphant moment. Others speculate that his silence might not be about his legacy at all. Could it be a calculated move to let the storm blow over while he handles things behind the scenes?
Tyson versus Jake Paul just got Netflix sued.
But was Netflix's unpreparedness the real issue? Some fans read between the lines, questioning whether the chaos was accidental. Tyson, ever the master strategist, may have sensed something bigger happening. Behind-the-scenes whispers have hinted at deeper problems, ones that go beyond buffering issues. Was the streaming debacle a smokescreen for something more controversial?
Everybody lying. I just told you that. Didn't I just tell you that?
Yeah.
That was a lie, Lance. That fight was a lie.
While the streaming issues dominated headlines, the fight became a hotbed of conspiracy theories. Tyson's unanimous decision loss to Jake Paul sent shockwaves through the boxing world, and fans quickly began dissecting every detail of the bout.
The first is that Tyson was required to complete 8 rounds for money. Some say that's how it was rigged. He's not going to go all out to shut down Jake Paul.
Statistically, the fight didn't make sense either. Tyson landed just 18 punches throughout the entire match, an astonishingly low number for someone who built his career on explosive offense. Meanwhile, Paul's approach was cautious, almost overly so, leading some to question whether he was holding back intentionally.
What did Mike Tyson win on? Uppercut. Then I heard some people talking about they could put that in the contract. He couldn't body and then uppercut. Like, how could you put that in a fight contract?
Former Dallas Cowboys and now sports commentator Michael Irvin added fuel to the fire with a shocking theory. Irvin claimed there was a contractual restriction barring Tyson from throwing his legendary uppercut, a move that has ended countless fights in Tyson's favor. It was like watching a lion with its claws tied, Irvin commented during a post-fight analysis.
Jake Paul left with the victory against boxing legend Iron Mike. After the fight, Jake said, "I have so much respect for him. That violence war thing between us, like after he slapped me."
Now here's where things get juicy, like a soap opera with boxing gloves. The whispers around this fight don't just stop at who landed more punches. Think about it. For Jake Paul, knocking out Mike Tyson would have been the ultimate "I'm a real boxer now" moment. It could have shot him straight into boxing's elite ranks. But here's the thing. Doing so might have alienated the very fans who adore Tyson as a living legend. You don't just obliterate people's childhood heroes and expect them to cheer for you afterwards.
Jake Paul and Mike Tyson now have been suspended from boxing after controversial fight in Texas.
And Tyson? An outright embarrassing loss. No one wants to see their hero stumbling out of the ring, reputation in tatters, all to boost some influencer's career. So, was there a little backstage handshake deal to keep things spicy but not too spicy? You know, competitive enough to entertain but controlled enough to keep the legacies intact? So here's the theory. Could Netflix, desperate to make this spectacle a massive financial win, have nudged things along? Maybe whispered sweet nothings into someone's ear about how a tightly contested, dramatic fight would keep fans hooked?
Like, everybody's talking about this Mike Tyson thing. I was like, man, they should not be letting this thing happen.
I really hope he doesn't knock Mike Tyson out.
Mike Tyson, the man whose name alone carries the weight of boxing history, has remained eerily silent about the streaming chaos that turned the highly anticipated Tyson versus Paul fight into a tech fiasco. For someone known for speaking his mind, especially when the stakes are high, Tyson's silence feels almost deafening. Is this restraint intentional? Many believe so. One theory suggests Tyson is protecting his legacy. After all, this was his grand return to the spotlight, fighting in front of a record-breaking 108 million viewers. Addressing Netflix's failure could shift focus away from his performance and onto the controversy, potentially tarnishing what was supposed to be a triumphant moment. But was Netflix's unpreparedness the real issue? Some fans read between the lines, questioning whether the chaos was accidental. Tyson, ever the master strategist, may have sensed something bigger happening.
Hey, how was your experience? And then what do you think? Because I'm not going to lie, the people feel like that was the biggest finesse. So what did you think about the fight?
While the streaming issues dominated headlines, the fight itself became a hotbed of conspiracy theories. Tyson's unanimous decision loss to Jake Paul sent shockwaves through the boxing world, and fans quickly began dissecting every detail of the bout.
But you know, you got to take that payday. I mean, what did he make out of that fight? He probably made $10 million or something.
Yeah, and Jake Paul's very smart, man. Like he gets guys that he's bigger than.
Statistically, the fight didn't make sense either. Tyson landed just 18 punches throughout the entire match, an astonishingly low number for someone who built his career on explosive offense. Meanwhile, Paul's approach was overly cautious, leading some to question whether he was holding back intentionally. All right, this gets weirder than a reality show plot twist. Former Dallas Cowboy turned sports commentator Michael Irvin decided to drop a bombshell theory that has conspiracy lovers frothing at the mouth.
Netflix is currently being sued over their Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. And it's not because people think the fight was rigged.
And here's where it gets really juicy. The idea that the fight was fixed might not even stop at the boxers. No, this theory zooms out to include Netflix itself. Yep, the streaming giant known for binge-worthy dramas is accused of adding real-life drama.
A 28-year-old kid who, used to be a YouTuber, and he's worked hard to learn boxing. He really has. He's come along, but really, he's still not of that level.
If Jake Paul knocked Tyson out cold, it would have enraged Tyson's fan base, a crowd Netflix probably doesn't want to lose. On the flip side, a classic Tyson obliteration of Paul might have spiraled Paul's influencer empire. So what's the solution? Keep it competitive. Keep it close. Keep everyone guessing. And most importantly, keep the conversation alive long after the final bell.
Now, His Excellency Turkey al-Sheikh, he wants to see the rematch between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, and he's now offering Mike Tyson $700 million.
Speculation about his next move is already running wild. For one, there's the idea of a rematch with Jake Paul. The first fight was messy, but Tyson doesn't want to leave things unfinished. It practically writes itself. But would Tyson want to step back into a ring shadowed by streaming hiccups and conspiracy theories? Then there's another possibility, the classic tell-all interview. One of those sit-downs where Tyson gets to air it all out, streaming issues, fight-fixing whispers, and maybe even his thoughts on Jake Paul's overly cautious punches. Still, if there's one thing we know about Tyson, he doesn't follow the predictable path. Redemption? Retirement? A surprise MMA fight with Conor McGregor? Who knows? What's clear is that Tyson isn't done surprising us. When the dust settles, the Tyson versus Paul fight will go down as more than just a sporting event. It was a moment, a chaotic, glitch-filled, conspiracy-laden moment that shook up boxing, live streaming, and the internet itself. Ultimately, this fight wasn't just about Tyson or Paul. It was about legacy, technology, and trust. It's about what happens when a cultural icon steps into a modern-day circus, where the stakes are higher than ever, and the audience is always watching, even if their stream is buffering. As for what happens next, well, Tyson might still have one last punch to throw, and if history has taught us anything, it's that when Mike Tyson throws a punch, the world feels it.